What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another week of Dad's talking about things that are going on right now. And we have our buddy Perry, as chipper as ever, always waving the high fives and the waves and everything. So, we got the dog on there.
It's my dog.
Your
That's
dog.
my dog. All right.
Yeah. It's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
So we're on the cusp of a pretty historic inauguration in the midst of everything that has been going on, pandemic, Capitol stuff. Obviously we're hoping for a smooth inauguration with no major issues that would come up. Obviously there's a lot of unrest just because of recent happenings, but today's topic, we're going to talk about something a little different. Well, not necessarily different, but I think it is very relevant. Obviously, the pandemic's still ongoing. People are still going through the motions and dealing with it in their own ways and everything. And our buddy Perry here brought up a question that kind of got me thinking, where I don't really know or understand as much as I should about the vaccine. But what he asked me was, and Perry, correct me if I misspoke, but if the possibility of bringing your kids back to school is always going to be there, but would you vaccine your kids in order for them to go back to school, or keep them virtual? Did I say that right?
Yeah. So basically, like if and when this happens, I can foresee this happening, that the school system would require, kids to get vaccinated before going back to physical school, or even or giving them the option, like, oh yeah, if you want to go to physical school, you need a vaccination, but if you don't, then you can do virtual learning from here on out. Like, what would you do? And this came up because one of our mutual friends, Mo, had posted something, and I'm not sure about where this article is from or something like that, or what city he's talking about, but it was a school district that mentioned that when they open up physical school again, they're going to require kids to get vaccinated. Her comment was, what happened to kids under 16 not needing to get vaccinated? So we had a little bit of a quick discussion over text, and I said, to me, I think this is just like a foreshadowing. Like, I feel like this is going to happen, because they already require, for like younger kids, that you need to have like your chickenpox, vaccine. You got to have your MMR. You got to have your flu vaccine before going to school. So this is nothing new. But the question is, like, well, what would you do? Like, would you get your kid vaccinated and send them to school, or would you keep them at home and keep them at distant learning?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, at least for this school year, obviously we're already doing the distance learning, but see, that's going to be a bigger discussion or a bigger decision that needs to be made come the next school year, right? Like, because if they're going to give that option, I honestly don't know. And the thing is that, so here's the thing, right? It's all about timing, right? Is the timing of the vaccine going to be similar to how it is for adults, right? Is it going to be a single dose, a double dose, right? Because going based on quantities, right, the first vaccine shot is up to 50% efficacy. The second one goes up to like 94.5, 95%, depending on which one you get. And so I'm thinking, okay, based on quantities, does it work the same way for little kids, right? Would one be enough? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Who knows? I don't know. But to be honest with you, having a vaccine is better than not. But at the same time, there's still so little data in terms of what the true side effects are. And if you have a sickly kid, that essentially means that pigeonholes you into just saying, yeah, nah, we're just going to keep them at home. But, if you decide to go the whole virtual schooling route again, I mean, obviously we're in it right now, that's going to be a whole nother freaking school year of just, okay, here's the thing. My disclaimer is that I know the teachers are doing their best and everything, but I can't help but feel that the education right now is mediocre at best.
Yeah, right? No, I agree. For sure, man. Like, Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just I don't know if I like we're talking about 2 years or 2.5 years of your kids being behind, and maybe it goes the same for the rest of the world too. Who knows, but all I know and really am aware of is just whatever's going on right now, and I don't know what to think or feel if that were the case. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a fair response because like nothing is solidified. We don't know jack shit about what the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine does to the human body yet.
Yeah.
Definitely hasn't been long, around long enough for us to study. So, I mean, my initial response is like, if it's been proven safe for humans, then I would be more inclined to, just because, I mean, just recently, like Zoe woke up from, from her sleep because she had a nightmare and then the nightmare was that she missed school so much. She missed her friends.
Yeah.
We all agree that can't be replicated from virtual learning at home.
Nope, not at all.
And I don't know about you, but like I'm sure it's different for other school districts. But for Zoe's school district, she's only required to be on 2 hours a day. I mean, that's nothing. That's only 10 hours of school a week, and then she has homework, right?
2 hours a day. That's like almost like a quarter recess.
Yeah. It's like it's not even close to being like academically, fulfilling at all. Yeah. So I know for a fact that like it's what they're getting right now is not even comparable to what they'll get at school. But you run that risk, right? Like I think if there's more scientific and supportive trials and results that prove that this is safe, then I'd be more inclined to put them back in school.
Oh yeah, I mean, just like a flu vaccine, right? I mean, it would be very easy to say, okay, cool. They're going to come out with new developments every single season and everything for whatever strains out there. Yeah. I can see that being like the coronavirus, to be honest with you.
Totally. I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, it's going to happen is what I think, like eventually, I don't know when, maybe 6 months from now, maybe a year, maybe 2-3 years. We don't know, but it's eventually going to happen. But I just hope that we have enough honest, supportive, scientific evidence that shows that, like, look, people that got this vaccine the first time around, like, they only had minor side effects and whatever, right? So if I hear something like that, then yeah, I 100% go ahead and enroll my kid in school.
Yeah, for sure.
They're gonna hate the shot, but whatever. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, like Llewellyn got one, and I mean, her and her coworkers got it, and the thing is, right now, is that obviously the symptoms and everything are so wide, right? Like, a few of her coworkers started getting chills and aches and everything like that, but she was perfectly fine, right? So it's hard to say. And I think for things like this, and obviously I'm not anywhere close to like a scientist that can actually give you how long it actually takes to certify an actual vaccine or anything. But what I do know is that it could take years to actually get down the actual, true makeup of a vaccine that is viable and everything like that through multiple tests, right? And this is like, at least based on what I know, that this is the first of its kind in terms of an accelerated emergency vaccine for something like this. So I would imagine that throughout the years, hopefully it doesn't take that long, but at least within a period of time that they actually do get to a near 100% confidence level. Because right now, my guess is a lot lower than like 80% confidence that this will do what it's supposed to do. Although the efficacy is like up higher, but who knows how long that is going to last for, right? Like, is it saying, okay, I get 2 doses or 2 shots, and within the first 2 or 3 months, it's like still it remains at 95, and then does it degrade over time, right? Like with that part, we don't know, right? It's not like a booster shot for like the measles or polio or whatever that lasts pretty much 5-10 years or whatever. This could be very well be like only for a few months.
Yeah, and the thing is, we don't know anything right now, right? I mean, literally all the frontline workers that are getting these shots are like the test rats for this, you know?
That's right.
Like,
Guinea pigs, if you will.
Guinea pigs. Sorry, not to call people rats, but
Yeah.
but yeah, like my sister and my cousin are in the health field too. They both one got Moderna, one got the Pfizer one, and yeah, like we don't know enough right now. So like if someone were to pose that question to me, like, hey, tomorrow we can let your kid go back to school, but she needs to get, you know, one of the vaccines, or you could opt to just stay home and do the virtual learning. I would say no to physical, even though she just had that nightmare about wanting to be in school. I would say no, because we don't know enough about it, and I don't want to put something in her where I have no idea what's going to happen to her next, right? You know, maybe ask me the same question 6 months down, or maybe a year from now, my answer might be something different. But it just really depends on what shows, right?
Right. Yeah, I think we're in the same boat. Like, asking me right now, probably not. I probably wouldn't, or we probably wouldn't. But talk about maybe the next school year, right? So that gives us roughly about, I don't know, 7 months, give or take. I think that would give us a better idea of what's going on, because as of right now, we have almost 10 million people vaccinated, with like almost 10 to 2 times that still need to be vaccinated for the whole country, right? Give or take. Could be more, could be less, but I mean, I think we'll definitely have higher numbers. But the one thing that I did see that was actually kind of interesting was that in Israel, they actually did, for people that actually did get the vaccine, and they're actually going relatively quickly. Obviously, Israel's a much smaller country and more concentrated, densely populated. But I read reports, and obviously these are not real scientific reports or anything. It's just just preliminary numbers. They said it reduced the your how vulnerable you are to getting the coronavirus by you're 55% less likely to get it.
What?
And I was like, oh, okay, well, that seems promising, right? But it's a very small sample size, right? Obviously, that number can fluctuate as you go, and depending on the country, right? And so, I don't know. I mean, if that's truly the case, and if we're looking to do at least 1 million, 2 million, however many per day within here in the U.S., then going towards the next school year, it may be viable, right? I mean, that's what we're hoping, right? Enough to get herd immunity, so that not many people will get infected, and whoever has it, it'll die off. I really hope that that's the case, and so that the kids can go back to school, and we can stop having to deal with them on a daily basis.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I want to get to that. I'm okay if I need to work from home, but dude, I haven't had any alone time forever,
my alone time is dropping a deuce or hopping in my car and just sitting there, just to be quiet, you know what I mean? We've touched on this so many times, but it's a recurring theme, because holy crap, we need it. And if it means putting them in school for a few hours a day, I would be okay with it.
Yeah, completely. Even today, I had an appointment over in San Carlos, which is about 30 minutes away from me. And my client goes oh, where do you live? I was in Daly City. And then they're like, oh, it's not too far from you. I'm like, nope, because I enjoy that ride where I'm just listening to the radio, listening to the podcast or whatever. And
driving the speed limit.
Yeah, dude, I'm going 65 the whole way. I'm not even going 1 mile over. And that's partly because when we're at home with the kids, going to school at home, we don't have that alone time.
No,
so part of me is I can't wait to get them out, but the other part is obviously the responsible part is well, I'm not gonna just to get them out, I'm not gonna risk whatever symptoms or side effects that this may have. But like you mentioned, in 7 months from now, I'm sure we're gonna have a better understanding of what the vaccine does to the body, and then go from there. And just like any scientific experiment, you're trying this, tracking the results. Okay, let's adjust, track the results, see what this does. So it's gonna take a while, before
it's gonna take a while. It's a process, right? Trial and error. get the sample size, get the data, and then try to figure out what the trends are, what's working, what's not, and what's common in, people that got the vaccine in terms of side effects, and when people got the vaccine, they didn't get side effects, what variant, and all that kind of stuff, And I don't know. I think that the best thing that we can do right now is to hope that we get better data, we get all that good stuff, and that we can actually eventually vaccine our kids, and it's not only just our kids, but ourselves as well, right? And so this is definitely the path towards normalcy, but I do not want to rush it when it's possible.
No,
so.
I mean, one of my kids is in physical school because she goes to a private school, Emma, and they have really strict protocols in place, so we're okay with that. But for public school, like, they don't have anything in that in place, and it's not allowed at the moment. But I'm gonna have to look at everything in the big picture once it comes to that point. So once the school year starts, let's say the school year in the fall of this year starts again, and then they present to me like, look, we want your kid to get vaccinated, but we also have all of these other things in place. Like, I would need to assess all that for me to go ahead and make my determination whether or not to send her back, because
here's a follow-up question, because I remember that you mentioned for the school that you guys are enrolling your kids in, is that you would have to go back to hybrid in order to keep your spot.
Well, so they that was presented by the board, and there's enough backlash where they're like, okay. Yeah, like, we're gonna actually, like, everyone's spot is safe.
Okay, because like, imagine that scenario, right? Where it's like, okay, well, we're going to have people go back to school, but if you go virtual, you can't get your spot when everyone's able to go back. But then you can get your spot if you actually get vaccinated and everything, right? I mean, it's a similar scenario, but you kind of throw in the kicker of, well, she won't be able to keep her spot if she doesn't get vaccinated.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm glad they kind of overturned that. And I can't, since they overturned it and listened to everyone, I can't see them bringing that back up again. Okay. But what sucks is that those people those individuals that opted to do hybrid learning using a different, like, a third-party institution, are currently now are stuck in those positions. So they technically are like a country without they're people without a country. Because they don't have so they could definitely re-enroll again back in the school, but they're re-enrolling. There's not like a spot saved for them, because they even though they overturned it, they overturned it after the fact that the decision had to be made to use this third-party company for schooling. And so I don't know any other parents that have enrolled their kid in that, because, like, all the parents I know have just kept it with the teachers that are doing Zoom school, at the actual school.
Right.
But I would be pissed if I was the other parent, where, like, no, we're gonna go through this third-party company for virtual school, and risking our spot. And then once they change it, I'd be like, hey, can my kid go back? But from what I've heard, they have to re-enroll. So like
that whole process.
Student.
Wow.
Yeah,
that sucks. Luckily for us, even if we're in the girls are in virtual, the teachers that are teaching are still within district. It is not like from the school that we enrolled in, but is at least from within the district itself. So it's a combination of schools. That makes sense, right?
That makes sense. Like, I don't understand why this school district, like, to pick this, like, C-list third-party company to as an option. So it's kind of like a slap in the face, like, as we mentioned.
Totally is. Before, and depending on where this company is located and the educators, I mean, I'm not saying the standard here in California is the best, but I'm just saying that for every state, county, city, whatever it is, there has to be a certain like criteria, right? And so I wonder how much of that criteria is actually being met with this third party company, right?
I don't know, man. I want to be optimistic and say that it's got to be better than 2 hours a day that what nobody's getting right now.
Which is crazy. So
yeah.
Oh my gosh! So she starts at what, 8:15 and goes until 10 something, and then the rest is just asynchronous.
Well, she has so it's 8:45 to 9:45, and then she has an hour break in between, and then she hops back on from 10:45 to 11:45.
And then that's it.
And that's it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So for me, while she's busy, I try to get as much stuff done as I can, working out, whatever meetings and stuff like that. But after, when it comes to noontime and it's like lunch, and it's like, dude, I gotta constantly try to figure out things to keep her busy.
Yeah, without getting her on the iPad.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want her on the iPad all the time, and sometimes I'll even have to take her to my appointments with me, which I don't want to do, but I have no choice. I've just no help, right? So okay. Yeah, so it's the incentive of putting her back in school is real high, but it all comes down to safety, and without any information, we're not going to know what we're going to get ourselves into. It'll be literally like a leap of faith, and just like the frontline workers that are getting the vaccines now, it's a leap of faith because no one knows what's going to happen to them.
No, not at all. No, it's a huge leap of faith, right? Because we're entrusting our physical health and safety to these companies that are typically for profit. Mm-hmm. And being distributed by our government, which is kind of okay, I don't know who to trust at this time, so
I don't trust no one at this time, but I really don't know where else to go for it.
Right, no, exactly. I mean, it's either this or falling off a cliff, right? I'll take this. I don't want to fall off a cliff, right? So geez, it's an interesting one. Definitely a lot to think about and a lot to consider for sure. But for anyone listening, definitely let us know, because I mean, at least for right now, we have 7 months to really monitor the situation to see how it affects all the people, because obviously there's going to be a lot more people getting vaccinated. So let us know what you think, because to me, honestly, I was scared about about Luann getting it. I mean, she seems to be fine, but who knows? I'm definitely going to be a little more cautious.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. I'm also curious about what other people think about this situation too. If they wanted to reach out to us or anything like that and let us know, their perspective on it. I'm very curious because, everyone's got their different priorities, but we should definitely revisit this in a few months and see if anything changes.
I could not agree more. But you know what? It's time. It's the weekend. Not that we can go do very much, but at least we'll get 2 days off to just kind of hopefully recuperate. But just a quick message: stay safe. Do your thing. But if you can get the vaccine, do research on it, handle it. But other than that, have a good weekend, everyone, and stay safe.
Bye.
Peace.
Be safe.
Bye.